Just when you thought that we had reached the pinnacle, the climax, the apex, FlyDigi takes it a level higher by turning up the gimmick a little bit mo. That little tiny screen, it's brighter and more vibrant, but what we really give a damn about is the rumpkin. Instead of those four okay and kind of mid rear buttons, you now have two flush permanent rear buttons and two removable bottom paddles, a new dongle, new charger dock, and a new RGB LED light strip, which looks really cool, although I really wish FlyDigi would have focused their efforts on making the adjustable thumbstick tension easier to adjust, kind of like the Vader 4. They could have used that exact adjustment method, for gosh sakes. Pop off the D-pad, take off the faceplate, use the tool that comes in there. Hopefully you didn't lose it. Jack it down. That whole time you're getting jacked around on screen if it's a multiplayer game and you can't pause it. Join me on this review of the Apex 5 as we compare it to the previous version, take a look at some limited edition Apex 4s and 5s, and give away a controller and a couple of charging docks. Let's get it. A quick disclaimer to my audience, the Stallions and Stallionettes. Good thing there was a lid on that, or I'd have soggy carpet. All the boxes we're unboxing today were sent for review by FlyDigi a long time ago. I want to thank them for their patience with me getting this review out, and my audience as well. Now, this makes me a little bit nervous. Not the fact that you can buy this down some back alleys like Temu, Walmart, AliExpress for a variety of prices, but the fact that when you're trying to look at the manufacturer's official website to look at the tech specs and compare which controller you might want, options, and there shouldn't be no option, it should be just one, but you've got .net, en.com, a regular dubdub.com. Insert a little clip of a previous FlyDigi review when it was a little more consistent. There was less options that are, I'm sure, not a place you should go. They are missing so many models of their controllers. For example, where the hell is the Vader 1 and 3? Where is the Apex 1 and 3? Where is the Vader Pro? Also, when you click on Apex over here, this isn't even the controller that's going to show up. This is a $160 roller on Amazon, which is the third-party vendor I would personally pick one up from, because you do have that layer of customer support, which is not great, but it's also better than a lot of other places you can scoop this controller up. We're here to look at the manufacturer's tech specs and the key notable features. Take a look. Are they game changers or just there to fill a bullet point on the old resume? Force Flex joysticks offering 30 to 100 gigafucks. Not sure what this unit of measurement is. GF ultra wide tension range. Same modules that were in the Apex 4. Liked them there. Hasn't changed here. 3 milliseconds of ultra low latency. 260 megahertz beast processor bringing lightning fast response. I wish the dating scene withheld this standard over here. Zero ghosting. That stings. Your force adapt triggers. FlyDigi finally associated some catchy marketing names to all their features. Force flex joysticks, force adapt triggers. Everything's very forceful. These are the exact same adaptive style triggers, not quite on the level of the PlayStation 5 DualSense, and that's mainly because the software supported is a lot more limited. There's a very smallish list of games for PC, but you can also do some cool things with those triggers on the fly, no matter what platform you're playing on, just by setting them up on the screen. The little itty bitty screen on the main machine, you can change the trigger effects on the fly, and what I always do with them suckers is turn them into trigger locks or stops, so you barely have to squeeze the trig on them. 6 extra buttons, we already know about it, 4 paddles, and a couple of micro bumpers for bumping off the competition. Platforms this is designed for is Switch 1 and 2. Through Bluetooth, you can use it with an Android set-top box, something like an NVIDIA Shield, pretty much anything that has Bluetooth. So your Steam Deck, any of the handheld consoles, your phone, etc. But with converters or adapters, I am going to test its compatibility on PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series consoles. In this video, not going to leave you hanging. Leveraging the power of AI, my guy, we got a little summary here of what the difference is. I already knew this anyway, but now we all know it because it's been artificial intelligence has supplemented this information for us. New rear button design, smaller Xbox style stick caps. Didn't notice that, but I will hold the old ones up against the new ones to look at the diameter of them.
2/3 the size. Also, they're not as comfortable. Oh, they're just like Xbox style caps. The center is rubber and grippy. The outside is horrendous. As we're over here on the Apex 3, it's grippy along the side and the center, and it's larger in diameter. So these are just better. Oh, and this has tension adjustment on the outside. What the hell?
A new LED light, a charging dock, that is not included, that's an accessory, and an enhanced smart screen. Gimmicky feature of this, the screen, it's now at a higher FPS and brighter and more vibrant. All that control and functionality could be done by a combination of button presses, and they, meaning the manufacturer FlyDigi, could have foregoed that screen, saving them a little money in manufacturing and then delivering a cheaper controller. Oh wait, they have that. It's the Vader line, which I've always recommended over the Apex. Might be kind of a good time to do a little giveaway. The first one of you watching to type Stallions down there. It doesn't have to be plural. It could be one Stallion if you'd like. I'll know exactly what you're referring to, is going to walk home with, or trot home, I should say, with an Apex 5. And then the second and third concurrent winners are going to get the charging docks, which I guess would be completely useless for you if you don't have a FlyDigi controller, but luckily you could pick up a Vader 3 or 4 for around 80 bucks on Amazon. Hell of a good controller. Should last you in the long run, and you would have a charging dock for it.
As for the packaging and included accessories, it is going to be identical whether you get one of these limited editions with a different faceplate and different colors, themes, a different colorway if you shall. We'll be checking out the included accessories of just the standard stock missionary joint. You of course have this thank you placard, which has been in all FlyDigi controllers since the Civil War. This is going to be your additional documentation, FlyDigi logo, a little bit of a foam divider. You do have your controller that will be in this plastic bag, but I have been using this controller, so it's unsheathed from its condom. Over here you are going to have a 10-foot USB-C cable. No dust covers, but it is branded with a little bit of FlyDigi flair on each side. Same black and blue speckle color that we've seen in previous FlyDigi controllers. You are going to have the dongle, which we are going to test the speeds of this bad boy, the input delay on PC, and see if you can overclock this as well. And while there is nothing under this foam, it is important to note that your two plastic paddles are socketed in these two slots, and you could actually miss them and throw out the box and then be wondering, why do I have a 2 rear button controller? What's wrong with my life? So not a whole hell of a lot in the included accessory department. The important things that you'll want to make sure you don't accidentally chuck out is the dongle and the 2 additional rear paddles. This is the outer sleeve, which has a little bit of information. Keep in mind it is a little bit of English text underneath. Not the prettiest pamphlet, and this additional placard is just showing some of their additional products, as if you didn't spend enough on their highest end flagship currently. You can buy some more controllers. In case I lose, toss out, misplace this instruction manual, pamphlet, or brochure, I could rewatch this video, pinch and zoom on the text. Tiny plastic bag is going to have an instruction pamphlet which only has Chinese characters, a little sim popper tool, and some of these stick-on thin aluminum, I wish I knew what they were for. Keep in mind there is a tool underneath the faceplate that you are going to need to adjust the adjustable thumbstick tension to make it tauter for more resistance. More on this later, but a huge miss opportunity from FlyDigi. Just realize that this is a different controller. It's not even in the same family or anything. This is the Doom Fox, third cousin twice removed. We'll be reviewing you in a separate video, sweetheart. Limited edition versions. A couple of notes on the packaging and included accessories of the limited editions, which we'll talk about the cosmetics in a second. They are absolutely gorgeous. You are going to have red paddles for this version. This isn't going to have any paddles because this is an Apex 4, so it is going to have the rear button design that I have reviewed on several FlyDigi controllers. The Apex 5s over here are using this new paddle design where it has 2 sunken in rear buttons and then 2 additional paddles that you can socket into these tracks. All the FlyDigi controllers come with a black and blue speckled USB-C cable. It'd be a nice cosmetic touch when you buy this controller, it's black and red, or with this one, it's black and gold speckles. Cool paper placard for the limited edition Black Myth Wukong over here, but then this variant, it's just the regular divider. So I thought that was a missed opportunity that they could have put something a little more special in here for a limited edition. Getting these paddles out is a real pain in the wiener. That's why I had to do that weird thing with my voice there to really drill home the point. I actually had to flip over this plastic tray and push the back of it to get it to pop out. Maybe a better box. Slightly jumping ahead to the rear button section because when I get there, I am going to have all 4 of the optional rear buttons installed the entire time as I talk about them, because I am going to treat this as a full rear button controller, which it is. Getting these in and out, very easy. You have a little track and a plastic peg. Shove your peg in the slot. It'd be nice if the dongle was also a little mix and match on the colors here. What I like to do, since I have so many FlyDigi controllers with very similar looking dongles, is I use a label maker to stick on Apex 4, Vader 3, so I know what's what. Busting the billiards out of this box, you are going to see that this is the optional charging dock, which does work with several of the FlyDigi controllers. As long as they have a little pad on the back for these 3 pogo pins to make contact, you're going to be able to charge with it. It has a little sheet, which is going to keep you free of fingerprints and debris. Super glossy screen. I'm looking back at you. A couple of rubberized feet, so it's not going to slide around your desk. And I do like the fact that this is white. Doesn't have a black version or variant. If I can pop the answer up on screen. As far as how the controller seats, that was a positive. Nope. 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 Yes. Yes. No. 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 Yes. Yes. No. I'd give it about a 7 out of 10 for actually socketing, sliding into its I'm charging position. Do not try and drop it in at an angle, like chuck it in like this. You gotta deliberately set it into the cradle. Taking a look at the ass of this device, because there's a lot to talk about back here. USB-C cable, 2 USB-A ports, and another stick of gum looking ass port. That is for your dongle, so you do not need to use 2 USB ports on your PC. You can be charging your controller at the end of a day of play and also be using this base as the means for wireless connectivity. Rather than rehashing a bunch of parts or components that are identical to the Apex 3 and 4, specifically the 4, which is virtually this exact controller with the new button design, I'm gonna focus specifically on the new areas, and if you want more information about things that are the same as the previous version, like the face buttons, D-pad, bumpers, I will have linked in the description below the Apex 4 review. I'm gonna make a bold statement here. FlyDigi should have focused their efforts away from this really cool looking, granted, a little bit of compliment here, a little praise before I backhand the shit out of you. This looks really cool with this RGB LED strip, but it's a strictly cosmetic enhancement over the previous version, and what should have been done, a new method of tightening the thumbstick caps, whether that's drilling a hole here to where you can get the tool in without having to remove the faceplate, taking off the D-pad first. But that's just such a simple thing that they could have done, where it's a lever on the side or something, maybe like the adjustment rings on the Vader 4.
My initial idea was to give you a full tour, a full walkthrough, but then I realized you would basically be doing the same gosh darn tour you did on the Apex 4 review. Yeah, the screen's a little bit brighter in the refresh department, but that only comes into play when you're doing a moving GIF, which is a feature I would always turn off because it drains the battery and have a moving picture on your controller distracting you. The screen didn't really get any bigger, just a little bit brighter, and there's no additional menus, sub-menus, features, things you can really do on the screen, so I don't find it a substantial upgrade, and I really wish FlyDigi would have focused their efforts elsewhere, like making the adjustable thumbstick tension an externally adjustable feature. A small enhancement is in the accessory button department, as you now have a turbo button as well as a function button, which is how you're going to swap through modes like switch, PCX input, D input by holding that down in a combination of face buttons. And that is also how you're going to get in and out of the menu, which kicks back a shitload of light. This is the biggest upgrade to a controller line's rear button design since Scuff/Corsair ditched that boat or paddle system that was horrendous for comfort and even worse for long-term durability or being able to find them in stock, for the Instinct for Xbox and Reflex for PlayStation, which use a much better design. Now, just like the Reflex for PlayStation 5, these bottom 2 paddles, which are actually these outer 2 paddles, are removable, but it is a much better design on the FlyDigi because on the Scuff, it's kind of a pain in the dick to line up the pegs to get back in the tracks, as over here, it is a breeze to get on and off. Furthermore, simultaneous button presses, especially on the same side, can be a little bit wonky because you need to wedge your finger in between this little half pipe. As we're over here, I feel like you have a lot more precise control over exactly what button you are trying to hit. And for those of you that prefer 2 buttons, just remove the bottom 2. Now, it would be cool if you could pop these ones off as well for those other cadets out there that would prefer the layout of having just the 2 bottom paddles but not these inner buttons. But your chance of accidentally actuating these is about a 6 out of 10. You can completely unbind them so they don't do anything, and you can do that in the FlyDigi Space software or directly on the screen. So if you're playing this on Switch and Switch alone, or a Bluetooth thing like your phone, you'd still be able to deactivate these buttons here you're not getting accidental presses. Having said that, as a forward button controller, this thing is phenomenal, super comfortable. Right here where the tips of my middle fingers are, I've got some paddles. Right here where the inner meat is of the same finger. So we're talking about 4 button coverage with just 2 middle fingers, unlike a lot of designs where you need your ring finger involved. So this is a big, which you still could do that layout, but I found myself just using it like this. I don't really know what else to tell you. It can be rebound on the fly. These feel phenomenal, can be removed, and it's just a big upgrade from what FlyDigi was doing before.
Interesting. The controller is by name in Gamepad LA. It's a FlyDigi Apex 5 1. Enter 1 and enter, letting it know we are going to take a 2000 sample test, and go ahead and rotate the left analog stick, and don't just stop once you start. You are going to see an average of 1 millisecond of input lag or delay. A little higher because I was a little slow with my, ow, poke myself in the eye, a little slow with my wrist rotation there. Pretty low on the jitter. I'm going to run you one more. You could see my stability was off because I was a little bit shaky. My blood sugar is a little low right now. Some call it the best. I call it X input test. Fuck the rest. 1000 samples, please. Oh yeah, the test completes incredibly fast because the PC is receiving those samples, the 1000 samples, very quickly. 5 outliers are going to be some numbers that don't agree with the rest of its comrades. Stability's there, as you can see. Little micro stutter there, another one right there. Interesting, interesting. But we are at that 1000 hertz polling rate for 1 millisecond of input lag or delay when wired on the PC. How about that dongle? It's going to be slower. Where'd I put that thing? Oh, she's walking on her own. That's not a good sign. Stop it. Oh, shit. Oh, God, it's stuttery. There we go. Now it's smoothing out. Should be good. Should be good. A little predate jutters. No, she's still walking on her own. Let's go ahead and run the test. Okay, so once you start cranking, you're at a 250 hertz polling rate. What the fuck? To call her inconsistent would be a compliment. As you can see, we are all over the road with a minimum of 0.6 and a maximum of 3.8 during this relatively short test. PC did receive its samples quickly. Jitter was low. That's good. It's showing at over 1,000 hertz over that dongle. Let's run another one, shall we? Jesus, that one was way more consistent. Huh. The dongle delivers a handsome speed on PC. That's all I'm gonna say on that one. So this is most likely operator error. I'm having a hell of a time over here trying to connect via Bluetooth. So if any of you much more intelligent people watching the video, it's not saying a lot, but somebody with a bigger brain, please let me know how, just step by step, bullet point, slow it down. Because I did read the little instruction placard, but I'm having a hard time getting it connected with the PC to run a test for y'all. My apologies. But what I won't apologize for is the overclocking results, which in the Lord of Mice overclocking software, when trying to increase the polling rate to 4,000 or 8,000 over the manufacturer's stock clock of 1,000, there was no benefits. There was no cons or jankage, connectivity issues, wonkiness, sporadic results in X input test or anything like that. But there was no benefit. No point of overclocking because this controller is already freakishly fast, wired or wireless, with the dongle, of course. Bluetooth, I was unable to test the speeds, but even if I could, guarantee that's the method I would not use. If I want to go wired, tether it. If I want to go wireless, touch my dongle.
So very disappointing news. The PlayStation 5, both wired, triple wired, trying Bluetooth, and then piggybacking the dongle by plugging that into the USB port on my 2 Brook adapters that are designed for PS5, that being the NYXI and the FGC2, which is being used right now. And swapping through the different modes, which is done by holding down this function button and then a combination of each one of the face buttons will put you into a different mode, like switch, X input, D input. None of them are currently working. So that's, if you've had more success, drop it in the comments section below and I will make a follow-up because I would definitely love to be using this on PS5. A more positive note on the Xbox Series side of the house, I was able to play single player games. Trying multiplayer, I don't have a current Xbox Live account and I don't usually do competitive multiplayer on the consoles. That's more on the PC side of the house. I just play single player exclusives on the consoles in a casual living room environment. And Microsoft has been pretty blatantly open that they don't like converters or adapters, even the less nefarious ones. So not just talking about Cronus Zens, but also like Brooks over here, which are really just meant to go inter-platform. And I don't want to risk my biscuits, you know, basically getting blocked or banned on any games or launchers by trying to use that on multiplayer. But wired, it does work on the Xbox.
So as for the verdict, I am a big fan of this controller. If you like the Apex 4, you're gonna like this more. It's the same price that the other one was on Amazon and on the third-party janky vendors like Temu and Wish and Alibaba, AliExpress, stuff like that. But Amazon, 160 bucks. That's the same price the Apex 4 has been. But with this newer version, you're getting a much better rear ass design. You have 2 sunken in buttons and then 2 removable paddles. I ran it as a 4 rear button the whole time, and it worked really good for me. It's also just as fast, but way more consistent than the previous version, and the dongle was fast. You get 1000 hertz with this new whatever the hell dongle, which is also physically smaller, which is nice as well. The new charging dock is actually really sweet. It charges and saves a USB port, and the lighting definitely matches the new light bar of the controller, but along those lines, it would have been great to have seen FlyDigi forego that little cosmetic enhancement in lieu of the performance enhancement that myself and other reviewers have complained about. That being a pretty clumsy way of adjusting the increased tension, where you have to remove the D-pad and then the faceplate, then use this tool that's like a little flathead to adjust the tension, as opposed to something like the Vader 4 where you just grab a ring, twist it. The screen I've always considered a gimmicky feature on the Apex 4. It's no different on the 5, even though it is a better screen now. They enhanced it. But I would strongly recommend this controller for PC use. You have the dock sitting out on your desk. It keeps the sucker connected and charged at the end of a day of play. It looks nice. It performs very well. PC specific features like gyro and dedicated Windows features like controlling applications. The additional bumpers, I've always ranted and raved about how awesome they are, and now I can also be excited about the rear buttons, because where I've always been just a little excited about the 4 rear buttons of the FlyDigi controllers, these are actually really good. Do strongly recommend this. I think it's a good $160 controller for PC. A lot of money to spend for a Switch or Switch 2 Pro controller, but if you have both platforms, PC and a Switch 2, this makes sense. Thank you for watching. Don't you dare go anywhere. Make sure you subscribe so you catch the upcoming reviews. Got the GameSir G7 Pro, as well as the Razer Wolverine 8K. Like a ton of really cool rollers in the near future to be reviewed. I'm excited. You should be moderately excited.